Hey guys, before we get started with the bare knuckle beast, Jim Alers, let's thank Fusion CBD Products for making this podcast available for absolutely free. Big shout out to Fusion CBD Products. Hit them up at fusioncbdproducts.com. They have a ton of sales going on right now, so check out their website. Guys, find them on the Instagram, Fusion CBD Products. A ton of great stuff I use on the daily. I use the Instant Freeze Rub, the waters, 2 or 3 a day, guys. Make sure you check out fusioncbdproducts.com. All right, guys, joining right now on the Fight Bananas podcast, the bare knuckle beast, Jim Alers. How you doing, brother?
I'm as good as we can be, man. As good as we can be right now.
Right. I guess let's kind of talk about that. For one, let me kind of pretense it with, you went on social media and you say, hey, guys, I might have a little bit free time up and, love to get on some shows and talk. And boom, it had to feel good, man. A lot of people were showing you a lot of love. And, how does that make you feel, for one, to be a, hot commodity in the combat sports industry?
It's awesome, man. I've worked very hard to, get to the position that I'm in right now. It's definitely something that doesn't happen overnight. I've been in this game for about 15 years, man. So it's awesome to, finally get that little bit of recognition, By
Right.
no means am I a star or anything, but it's cool that people are starting to recognize it.
Oh, absolutely, man. We always love having you on, Jim. We always appreciate your time, bare knuckle beast. So, you kind of started, so let's kind of stay there. How are you dealing with what the whole world is dealing with, especially here in America with the corona effect? Jobs have just paused. Industries have just been literally put on pause. The combat sports world, Dana White seems like he's working super hard to get UFC 249 somewhere. But, Bare Knuckle FC had to cancel 2 events. How are you doing it with you personally as a fighter? And then, of course, you can talk about Alers Martial Arts and your gym. So how are you dealing with the corona effect?
Man, I'm just really taking it day by day. Right now is definitely a hard time for everyone, like you said. I'm just trying to – I just made a post, really this on my Instagram just saying, I know I haven't posted in a while, but, I'm trying hard to stay off of social media. Really, man, I think that would be the death of a lot of people, man. It's crazy how you can get sucked into that and you realize, man, I just wasted a bunch of my hours of this day instead of being productive, just sitting here commenting or whatever it is you're doing, searching and flowing through social media. So I'm just trying to stay active. I'm doing Zoom classes for my students, not just 1 a day, but I'm doing three a day, 1 in the morning, 1 for the kids in the evening, and another one in the evening for the adults. I'm just taking up new hobbies and just hanging out with the family, man.
Right.
We're very busy family, and it's awesome to take this time to just sit and get to know your kids a little bit more, get to know your spouse a little bit more, find out things that they like, normal things that you don't really get to do on the everyday basis because we're running around usually with chickens with our heads cut off. And, sometimes we don't get to sit down and, actually enjoy the little things. And we got to find the good in that right now and just kind of sit down and enjoy it.
Jim, I couldn't agree with you anymore. That point exactly. I was going to throw that out there. I'm constantly, I think I do more than 3 people do in a day, right? I'm just constantly grinding, rolling. And, the wife, I have 4 kids now with the twin girls just born on New Year's Eve. And
nice, yeah.
This time is, I'm not going to, every negative I'm going to try to make into a positive. So far it's been, 4 days. We've been, mainly in the house. We've been doing a lot of walks as a family, which is great. And just hearing them talk about, nature, and we're teaching the kids how to stop at the road, just little things in life. It's been great. I've been trying to, like you said, take any kind of negativity or the time that I'm not doing something else. I'm all in, with the family and with all the kids. And then, of course, here to the podcast side where the MMA kind of tilt to it is, It's been, the last 4 or 5 days, we just had a really big podcast with Dean Thomas. He kind of announced that he was leaving ATT and doing his own thing. We just had one with Charles Rosa on last night. Our podcast numbers in the last 4 days have blown up. They magnified 5 times what we usually do because people are not watching sports at night or they're not watching the UFC on Saturday night and they still want content. People are still craving to be entertained, at night after the kids go to bed of that nature. So I'm kind of with you. I'm trying to take any kind of little negative spot and trying to turn it into a positive. And I love your outlook on it, my man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, man. Like you said, there's so many other things now, instead of just sitting in front of the TV, man, pick up a book, listen to some audio books, educate yourself right now when we have the time and everything, there's so many, I love podcasts because there's so many smart people out there willing to share a little bit of what they have, whether it be in the MMA industry or the business industry or whatever it is, you might as well learn from these people who are successful. And if they're willing to share that knowledge with you, take this time and learn and soak it all in.
Right. I really do. I agree with you again on that. It's just, and it's cool because the back and forth, you never know where the conversation is going to go. And sometimes it's cool to see, I love seeing different opinions on a different angle, just as a fight. The judges, and we talked about it when the last time you were on the show. I've talked to over 50, fighters, promoters, media members about what do you think about open scorebook and open judging, and everyone has a different little tilt. And I love taking all this information in. I love kind of listening. Oh, I like that what he said. I like that what she said. And kind of building on it. But it's awesome. It's a weird time. But we're gonna make it as positive as we can here on Fight Bananas. But let's kind of get with you a little bit with Bare Knuckle. The last fight, Bare Knuckle FC 10, Kaleb Harris. It didn't go in your usual 20-second, 30-second barrage and endage, which has been really fun to watch you. But your fight, we talked about on Fight Bananas right afterwards. It had to be so far, it's early, but it's the fight of the year. It was tremendous. How was it to kind of have a totally different fight in, the square ring? Instead of being those 20, 30-second quick knockouts, it was a 5-round war, and it was a tremendous, tremendous fight. Tip of the hat off to you, my man.
Yeah, man, it was fun, man. It was something, I always want to have the fights that people will, at the end of the event, say, man, that was a good fight, whether it be the knockout or whether it be the fight of the night like that one was. If I'm gonna go to a decision, it better be a fun fight. I better leave that fight saying, man, I had a good time. I had fun in that fight. I don't want to just win by points, or know that I'm ahead and try to run around and be like, oh, well, I won that fight. That's not my style. Right. Even if I'm ahead 4 rounds to none, I'm still going to go for that knockout in the 5th round. And, that's kind of what I was doing. I was still attacking, trying to finish him, but unlike MMA, when you're hitting someone with everything you got and they're just not falling and your hands are swollen and hurting, the only thing to do is to keep hitting them. So, I can't take you down. I can't kick you. I can't knee you. So it was kind of cool to see how I'm going to continue going in that fight with that and adjust and make the changes I needed to finish that fight and to finish it strong.
Oh, and you absolutely did. It was a tremendous fight. What did you take on Kaleb Harris? It seems like there was a ton of mutual respect. I had you both on the show the week of of your fight, and Kaleb kept on talking about how, he had the knockout of the year of 2019 for Bare Knuckle FC, but he definitely had a ton of respect for you. To me, it seemed like going into it. How did you guys, what's your take on Kaleb after now having that war with him?
Man, he's a tough kid, man. I think what's different about someone who's so relatively new, it's not that when you see a guy who has less fights or whatever, not that they're not a tough fighter. We don't know, man. We have so many of these new up and coming younger guys that are just overall tough, and there's not a lot of footage on them, so we don't know. We don't know how their chin are, how their chin is, how their cardio is, So he went out there and he proved, hey, look at me, man. I'm an up and coming guy. And like I said, and I think I said it in a few podcasts or stuff before, what was going to win me that fight if I didn't knock him out in the first round was just my experience in the ring, in the cage, my fight IQ. And I think he still has to learn a little bit of that. But he did great, and I have so much respect for that guy. He's only going to do big things, and he's been in the gym just trying to get better every day. I talk to him a lot. What's cool about bare knuckle is the camaraderie that we have after these fights. After you bare knuckled box someone, you have a different type of friendship and relationship than any other of these combat sports.
Yes, sir. No, I agree with you on that one. Here's something we've been kind of talking about with the last kind of 2-3 weeks here on the show. It mainly kind of came after the whole Weili and Joanna, and then, of course, afterwards was kind of Yoel and Adesanya. And it seems to me like the fans, there's no middle ground, right? Fans love, of course, the Masvidal versus Askren knockout. They love watching Jim Alers knock someone out in 25 seconds. And I get that. I do. It's fun for me as well, too, but I do get that. But to me, I don't understand, and this is where I'm kind of coming from, I don't get why fans can't understand or respect or love what they're watching. Your fight versus Kaleb Harris, and Joanna versus Weili, these are all-timers. These are fight of the years. But anytime a fight kind of goes the distance, that's not like a fight of the year, it seems like the fans are like upset or, I hate when I hear the boo birds, happen, especially in the cage, because there's so much in it. You know what I mean? There's so much, should I take him down now? There's a wrestle, and I'm going for a crazy great submission and grapple, and I don't understand. And what do you think on it? What's your opinion that fans can't, it feels like they want the Masvidal crazy knee knockout of Askren, or they want that once in a year war. There's no middle ground for that. You know where I'm coming from?
No, I understand. It's hard, especially in MMA. You see it a lot, man. You see it a lot in these champs that, all of a sudden they got the belt and their style changes a little bit.
Right.
They're more cautious about what they do. They fight a little safer. And especially in MMA, there's so many ways that the fight can end. So I think people stop fighting to win, and they start fighting not to lose, if that makes sense.
No, 100% makes it.
And it happens a lot. And I think, your everyday fan is not going to see the technique and everything that goes into a fight that goes 5 rounds that isn't really a war. People who really understand the sport, they'll see the little thing. Oh, man, look at that footwork. His head movement was great. This and that. But for your everyday fan, it becomes, I guess, I'm a fan also. I'm a fan before I was a fighter.
Right.
And an MMA fighter. And, I too, in some fights, that go to distance, I don't know, to me, I can see it a little bit. I'm like, man, I feel like he was not fighting to win. He was fighting not to lose. And when you do that, it could go either way. And that's when judges and fans start questioning. I don't know who really won that fight. So in my mind, I never want that to happen. I want it to be a sure thing that I won that fight, even if it goes to decision. I want everyone to be like, yeah, it went to decision, but Jim definitely won that fight.
Right. Guys, we're talking with Jim Alers. Follow him on Instagram at FightJim. Jim, to me, the last 18 months have been, to be blunt, have been great for you and your career. Your name, to me, I think has a ton of great buzz around it, has a really good, positive and fun. You're just one of those fighters when you're on the card, and I hope Dave Feldman hears this for Bare Knuckle FC, when you're on the card, okay, I'm watching it, or I want to go there live, or I want to pay the money to watch this fight. You're just that guy right now, for at least for me and a lot of the people I talk to in the community. Now with the coronavirus, kind of puts a pause to bare knuckle and combat sports almost as a whole. What do you do to try to keep your name and your buzz and your great momentum? How do you keep that going throughout the spring and maybe even into the summer?
Man, they say you're only as good as your last fight and everything. And I think for a lot of fighters, everyone has their way to get that high, and to feel like they're on top of the world. And for fighters, it's getting your hand raised. We have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And even after you get your hand raised, you start to see fighters get that itch again, and they want to get back in right away. But honestly, man, it's been a roller coaster. I've fought 4 times in 6 months. Definitely, I feel and I know that I'm the face of bare knuckle, and trying to stay relevant and just staying in. It's of course social media. That's what everyone's doing. But in my mind, man, I'm just trying to stay off, taking a little break right now. I'm looking at this as God's sign of like, hey, take this time, recoup, heal up, spend time with the family. And when this is all done, and we're back to normal, I think bare knuckle is going to reach out to me and put me, headline a card, and we'll get right back to it. So, really just trying to stay relevant in the eyes of the fans right now is not too much of a concern, because I know when this is over, I'm going to be ready. I'm doing workouts every single day, and I'll be ready to get in there and just put on another highlight performance.
Love it, my man. Okay, so if I'm Dave Feldman, I give you a call. Hey, Jim, it's the summer. We're going to go August, Bare Knuckle FC 11. We want you to main event. You handpick your opponent. Who would you want? You versus Jim Alers main event. Who do you pick?
Man, there's so many. It's hard because especially at the 155 division,
right.
we don't have a big roster right now. I know we haven't even got to do the other side of the
tournament
of the tournament.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we've only seen one side of the tournament, right? Me and Luis Palomino.
Yeah.
And Luis Palomino was a teammate of mine for a long time. We were training partners, and man, that guy hits crazy hard. His stand up is amazing. It would be if I had to pick out of the bare knuckle roster, right now we're on different sides of the brackets too. So even though you saw us both fight in the same night,
right.
Supposedly we're on different sides.
Right.
It'd be an honor to fight him, in South Florida. We had the most fans there.
Oh yeah.
Out of every single fighter, after both of us fought, that place kind of cleared out. And so it'd be awesome to really just like headline it. But, man, I don't know. There's so many great fighters. I would love to see, some of these other UFC guys who fought wars come into it, and I'd love to be the first one to jump into it,
Okay.
Diego Sanchez, Gilbert Melendez, somebody like that. I'd love to get in there and really, show them what's up with the bare knuckle world, or even a big name boxer. Honestly, I don't watch boxing, so I don't know who's a big name boxer. But I'd love to go in there. Boxers, I feel like, don't do very well in this sport.
Okay.
So I'd really like to see how I do against one of them.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, man. I loved both of those that you said. That was actually good. Diego and Gilbert. Gilbert Melendez and Bare Knuckle FC. Like, woo, that's must-see TV for sure. And then if you guys go at it, that's an easy main event for sure. That's awesome. Okay, so before we kind of ended with Bare Knuckle, definitely, and I saw you on social media, and the whole world was literally watching Duval last weekend for Combat Night. We know you had one of your guys on the show, didn't go great for him, but hey, I know you and Mitchell Chamali are great friends. How, I don't want to use the word proud, but maybe I need to. How proud of you as, a partner and someone, I know that you do stuff for them for Combat Night and just been with them, for so long. They were the spotlight of MMA. Saturday night, Duval was the only show on. ESPN was watching. The whole world was watching. How great was that for an event for Combat Night?
Man, it was awesome. I know everybody questioned Mitch if this fight was really going to happen. I questioned Mitch.
I know.
Are you sure this fight's going to happen? He just got fed up with people questioning him. Because when I've known Mitch now for about 10 years, and when he sets his mind on something, it's going to happen. And he proved that, this past weekend. So many people questioned him. So many people doubted him. So many haters on making this show happen. And he did it, and he did it the right way. And he did it a safe way where I feel, it was no fans. He had 2 separate buildings, so we didn't have too many people in one spot at one time. It ran smoothly. The fighters, were well prepared and ready to put on a show. And I'm super proud that it got the recognition it deserves. Dominic Reyes being there definitely helped out. ESPN putting out an article or two about them. So I think this is just big things for Mitchell and the whole Combat Night crew. I think Dana White, needs to hit him up and say, hey, how did you do that? What do I need to do to make our shows happen? Because Mitch is the man. It was just awesome to see it happen, and the MMA world kind of needed that show.
Right. I'm with you. And, you mentioned Dominic Reyes, and, hey, big fan of Dominic Reyes. Could be the light heavyweight champion of the world for UFC. But the thing that I'm so happy about, and I think Mitchell would agree with me completely, is I love the spotlight that Val Woodburn got. I love the spotlight that the Ramon Tavares got and Steve Kozlo got. Like, these fighters, they've been on the show multiple times. I love they're the future of combat sports and Combat Night. And they got a ton of spotlight on them, and I just love that. Especially those three. I know those three guys are all savages. Going to do big things in the future for just MMA and UFC and Combat Night. But I really loved the spotlight that some of those fighters got. It was really, really big for them.
Yeah, man, it was cool to see. I was telling them, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We don't all get this chance. I've never fought on a card like that where it was just the cage, my coaches, the judges, no fans. It makes a difference. It really shows you, what type of fighter you are. Are you here to win, or are you here for the crowd? Or are you here for yourself? A lot of fighters came through and put on a great performance.
How would you think you would do, Jim, in a arena with no fans and just you, like you said, you probably have your wife there and you got two of your coaches there. How would you think you would do in an environment like that?
Man, I really, I've been the heel, I guess. A lot of times I've flown into many different countries and fought the hometown hero. So I've gone lots of times where I didn't have the crowd chanting my name or cheering for me. So every day in the gym, it's just, to me, I always say this is not just another day in the gym. When I walk in the cage, this is just another day, of business that we do every day. So I a lot of times I've tuned out the crowd and I've gone in and just done what I had to do. So I think that I would do well, especially I'm like a robot in there. I say when I'm fighting, I listen to everything my coaches say. If my coaches say, "Hey, I need you to go in there, hands down, chin up," I'll look at them like, "Hey, man, you're kind of crazy," but if that's your plan, if that's the plan, I trust them,
right?
And I'm going to do that.
Wow. Man, you're throwing out wrestling terms at me. You're throwing out the heel turn. So let me get a quick plug in. We actually just created a professional wrestling podcast underneath our Fight Bananas umbrella. It's been awesome. It's going to be really cool. It's I've been saying, Jim, Fight Bananas has been awesome over the last 18 months, 2 years. We became like this oak tree, right? So now we're having different branches. We're actually going to have its own boxing podcast. We might even have its own Bare Knuckle FC podcast come out. Like I said, we got the professional wrestling podcast. I'm kind of the MMA guy. So it's just been cool. So that's a real quick plug. We do have now a professional wrestling podcast underneath our banner. But we'll kind of end it on this, Jim. I really do always appreciate your time. So if the combat sports world is listening, what would you say to them? What should we do to get us through these hard times, the spring, maybe even into the summer? We talked about earlier, Dana White's really trying to work really hard to get that UFC 249 show, that Habib and Ferguson show on. But, Bare Knuckle's already canceled 2 events. What can we do as a whole? What can we do as a community? Because we are a tight community. At the end of the day, we have all broke bread together. We've all, tried to build each other up in the long run. What do we do as a MMA community here in Florida and beyond moving forward?
I think really we just got to really stick together. It's hard. It's hard to put on, even if we did shows where, like Combat Night, where there was nobody. It's hard to put on those shows because how are fighters getting ready? Gyms are closed. So I don't think we're going to see many shows like that in the upcoming months. But I think we all need to stick together and figure out what's working for each other, especially gym owners. How are we keeping our students engaged and happy and keeping those doors open for when this is all said and done we can get right back to it. I think a lot of people have been doing those online classes. I started those with my students, and I think just keeping that camaraderie that you have with your team, and letting them know that you care for them, that you're there for them, and reaching out to other teams and saying, hey, like, if you guys need anything, however I can help you, let me know. This is not a time to be selfish. This is not a time to think of profit. This is a time for the community to stick together, help each other. And if someone's down, if someone needs something, and if you have extra, or even not if you have extra, take the shirt off your back and help those out, because this is a time that I think that everyone needs somebody. This has affected everyone in one way or another. And the only way to get through it is not alone. It's together. And I think we're going to get through it, and we're going to get back to the way things were. And I think once this is over, people are going to beg to see fights. So fighters, stay ready. You guys know what to do, especially you pro fighters. You guys are pros. You know what it takes to take it to the next level. And if you feel like, oh, I need this or that, you're not ready. If you can't do it by yourself, then, you got to take another look at what you're doing it for, because you shouldn't be doing this for anybody else but yourself,
Right. Wow. Jim Alers, man, appreciate you. Love always having you on, but I think today, to be bluntly honest, I was probably my favorite one with you. Is great. I loved your outlook. I loved kind of where your mindset's at. I agree. I think we will get through this as a MMA community and probably even be stronger. I think, the fighters, sometimes, you do need to, let's just be honest, kind of cut the fat a little bit. Maybe 5 or 7% maybe leaves that wasn't really all in, right? Maybe some fighters, right? I don't know, a promotion or some shows or whatever the case may be, a podcast. Some will fall off, but then the cream will rise to the top. And can't wait to see you back in the the square circle, Bare Knuckle FC, or wherever you want to do, wherever you want to take your talents. You got a fan in us here at Fight Bananas, and man, we just wish you good luck in these hard times, and we'll talk to you real soon, my man.
Appreciate it, man. It was a pleasure to be on. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Have a good one.
Wow, guys, that had to be one of the best Fight Bananas episodes we've ever had. Jim, Bare Knuckle Beast Alers, just kind of really speaking a lot of just really bright, positive thoughts and opinions, and I loved it. Guys, we're all in hard times. Let's just be honest. There's people out of work. There's gyms closed. There's a lot of negativity. Stop watching the news. That's for one. Just stop. Gosh, it's so much, and it's so visceral. Let's just let's read more. Let's spend time with your family more. Hey, we can jog. We've been walking around as a family more. I actually feel pretty good. Life is going to move on. We will get through this. We will. America, we are going to adapt and overcome. The mixed martial arts community will adapt and overcome. And that's just what I felt. Jim Alers was speaking a lot there. So I love it. Appreciate Jim Alers coming on the show. Let's thank our last two sponsors real quick. Mako Tech mouth guards. We got to show them a lot of love. It's a lot of hard times for a lot of people. I really want to support our sponsors more than ever. So Mako Tech mouth guards, give them a lot of love and a follow. And Still Nutrition. Give NStillNutrition.com tons of love and support right now. Go to the website. Buy a supplement. We all need a little bit of extra juice, an extra something to get us through the day. We're maybe not doing as much as we should. Go to NStillNutrition.com and get it. Go get it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Fight Bananas podcast.